All right, welcome to Eagle Rants. We are exactly 3 minutes away from game day. Yes, it's 11:57 on a Wednesday, and I am recording for tomorrow's game because I'm going to do a separate episode for our Week 2 predictions as well as the Week 1 recap, aside from the Eagles, of course, because I usually do it in the same video, but I like doing full on Eagle Rand videos separately. So yeah, let's get right into it. So this past Sunday was the season opener for the Eagles, as they were in Foxborough to take on the Patriots, and it's the same day when the Patriots inducted Tom Brady into the Ring of Honor, I believe, or his jersey retirement. I forget what it was. It was an event for Brady. Good for him. Greatest player of all time, without a doubt. We went against him toe to toe twice in the Super Bowl. Split the series with him. So yeah, we went in the Foxborough for a 4 o'clock game. It was a really messy game, weather-wise and honestly playing-wise. We did win the game 20-25, but like I said, it was a really messy game for both sides, honestly. But we did start off really good. Darius Slay had a pick six within like the first 5-10 minutes of the game. Then Jordan Davis on the following possession had a forced fumble on Zeke, which resulted in a touchdown, I believe. Our defense looked really good in like the first quarter or so, but then we just started to sputter out in the second quarter and like the rest of the game, honestly. I don't know what the hell happened, but it wasn't pretty. It was not a pretty game at all. After we scored 16 points in the first quarter, we just we went 3 and out on 5 straight possessions, which is the first time with Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. Hurts didn't play great, but he didn't do bad either. He was solid. It was a rainy game. It was a really sloppy game. Plus, we have new coordinators in Desai and Brian Johnson, who is actually Jalen's quarterback coach for a while. Him and Jalen have known each other since Jalen was 5 years old. So, but this is the first time Brian Johnson is a play caller in the NFL. And he had to go against none other than Bill Belichick, who's been in the league for over 40 years. So, I wasn't really surprised, but, he played too conservative in that game. I know it's the first game of the season, so I'm not flipping out at all. I'm not overreacting. It was the first game of the season. Rusty play calling. It's all right. It's all good. Like I said, Hurts didn't really do the best, but like I said, he was solid. He went 22 for 33 passing, 170 yards, and a touchdown. His QBR was a 36, and his passer rating was an 89. And honestly, from what I saw somewhere, they said the average passer rating is a 90. Hurts went 20 of 26 when throwing in the pocket, which is really good. Outside of the pocket, he went 2 for 7, which, not really that good. Gainwell was the clear RB1 on Sunday. He had 14 out of 25 carries for our offense. And he also had 4 receptions for 20 yards. DeAndre Swift and Boston Scott each had a carry for 3 yards. And yeah, DeAndre Swift didn't really see the field that much. Goddard did not get a single catch. He was only targeted once. And Sirianni said after the game, we can't have this happen again where DeAndre Swift doesn't get any touches and Dallas Goedert doesn't get any looks, because Goddard is one of the best tight ends in the league. Top 4, top 3 in my opinion. So he said he doesn't want to see that, but like I said, Brian Johnson's first game as a play caller, so it's all good. I think we'll turn it around against the Vikings tomorrow, but we'll get into that in a minute. Gainwell was force-fed on the first drive of the game. Some people were surprised that Gainwell was our starter, but the Eagles were telling us, without telling us, that Gainwell would be our RB1, because you look throughout training camp, he had the most reps out of each running back by far. And they even rested him in the preseason, which just goes on to show you, like, he was going to be our starter. And I like that. Gainwell, I think, is going to be a pretty good back for us, but I do like our running back by committee. Rashad Penny was a healthy scratch, which I'm not surprised by that either, because he got the fewest amount of reps out of our running backs by a wide margin. And on top of that, I'm pretty sure Sirianni or someone on our coaching staff said that they really don't know about Rashad Penny. They said that's someone they really haven't figured out yet. So I wasn't really surprised he was a healthy scratch. But with Kenneth Gainwell out tomorrow, technically today now, due to a rib injury, I want to give a 95% chance he gets activated, because usually we have 3 running backs active for the game. And, with Gainwell hurt, all we have are Scott, Swift, and Penny. I can't wait to see Swift with at a full go. Because, we traded picks for him, so it was obvious that, that just goes on to show you how much we wanted him. A.J. Brown had 7 catches for 79 yards. That pass Hurts made, where they called it incomplete because he bobbled it while he was out of bounds, I saw the replay. That was a dive. It was a beautiful pass. Unfortunately, they called it incomplete. Devontae Smith had 7 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown. Not bad. So I want to get back to Goddard. Goddard was only targeted once. He didn't have a catch. This game reminded me of the Jaguars game, also, mainly because of the rain and it was sloppy football, but also the Lions game last year. First game of the season, we looked a little rusty. Our defense looked rusty, and most importantly, Devontae Smith didn't have a single catch against the Lions last year either. And Nick Sirianni did bring that up. He said, I do recall, because post-game press conference, he was saying, I do recall that Smitty didn't have a catch and Goddard didn't either. So I expect Goddard to have at least 4 or 5 catches against the Vikings tomorrow. Because I remember that's what we did with Devontae Smith. We fed him the ball a lot against the Vikings last year, and this was a week after he was held to 0 catches. So there's that. Our run defense did pretty good, did really good, in fact, against the Patriots. The Patriots ran the ball 22 times for 76 carries, which resulted in 3.5 yards a carry. That's pretty good. However, most of the damage was done in the air, and especially in the middle of the field. So, Hunter Henry was eating. 5 catches, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Kendrick Bourne had 6 catches for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. Stevenson had 6 catches and 64 yards, no touchdowns. And Mac Jones threw the ball 54 times. Like I said, really rusty game. Hurts had a fumble, which he lost, which, I was pissed about. However, we were bailed out because Kayshon Boutte doesn't know foot placement. Jalen Carter looked great out there. I think he's, tied for the most pressures in the league. And he only played 50% of the snaps. So, imagine if he played, 60% or, full-time starter snaps like Fletcher Cox. He's going to be a monster. He is my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Our defensive line did look great. However, I do need to mention the Patriots' O-line was banged up. But still, Fletch looked good. Jordan Davis looked good. They all looked good. I don't know why Justin Evans is our starting safety. He didn't do shit last week. I don't know why we don't have Sidney Brown or Terrell Edmonds starting. But Reed Blankenship is hurt too now. Kenneth Gainwell, Nakobe Dean, and James Bradbury are all out for the game. So, I don't know how it's going to look for us. But I believe Vegas still has us at 6.5-point favorites, which should be interesting. But I'm looking at fantasy stats from everywhere. They are saying Jalen Hurts is the number 1 quarterback to start this week, which does make sense because the Vikings defense is terrible. I mean, Baker Mayfield beat the Vikings defense last week, and he was saying their adjustments were so easy to call. So I can only imagine how easy it's going to be for a quarterback of Jalen Hurts' caliber. Slay looked decent. Bradbury, I mean, he got beat on the touchdown. Like, it was just, like I said, a sloppy game, but it's not going to be like this all season. We turned it around. Bradbury had a concussion. It didn't look great. When I saw it on live TV, like, his mouth was bleeding and he just looked out of it. So I had a really good idea he was not going to play because, we had a game Thursday. We didn't have a lot of rest, so there was no shot. Nakobe Dean will be out for at least 4 weeks. He was placed on IR because of an ankle injury. So as a result, we signed former Bears linebacker Nick Moreau to our active roster from the practice squad, and we signed former first-round pick from the Tennessee Titans, interior linebacker Rashad Evans, to our practice squad. He played with the Falcons last year and played mostly middle linebacker. From what I was told by Falcon fans and Tennessee fans, he's a good tackle. He's one of the better tacklers in the league. It's just he wasn't as good as he was after he was drafted, so it's understandable. That's why he wasn't on the team. But that did not take Howie long at all to get an extra linebacker. And I don't think we're done making moves. I feel like once, because we're one of the most active teams in the league, once the trade deadline comes, I would not be surprised if we get either a linebacker or a safety. But I'm really hoping for, a linebacker because we need that the most. We're paper thin at linebacker right now. Patrick Queen would be awesome, but I'm sure Howie's going to trade for someone out of left field. Like last year, I wasn't expecting us to get Robert Quinn. So there's that. I want to grades for the offense, defense, special teams, whatever. So our offense was a solid C-. We just didn't look that good, but like I said, it's only one game. But I'm just going to go based on performance. We just really didn't look that great. Our defense helped us out a lot. And like I said, we went 3 and out 5 straight times. That cannot happen again. I don't care who we play. It just cannot happen. Defense, I'll give them a B- because they did help us out a lot. But they sputtered out for the rest of the game, which is why they get the B- grade. And special teams, Jake Elliott, A+. He was our MVP of the game. He went 4 for 4 field goal wise. He did miss an extra point, but we were not winning that game without him because he was making these kicks in the elements, and that's not an easy thing to do. So yeah, Jake Elliott's my MVP of the game, and he did win NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. So congrats to Jake Elliott. Now on to the Vikings and Eagles game. That'll be today, actually. So I really don't follow the ESPN analytics, but according to the analytics from ESPN, there's a 65% chance Eagles win the game. We go to Yahoo. Let's look at the money line and all that stuff. We are 6.5 point favorites, and the over-under is 49 points. So they're expecting a 27-24 kind of game, even though that adds up to 51 points. But, they're expecting something like that. But we are 6.5 point favorites, which I'm a little shocked about. I mean, because after the news broke that Bradbury, Blankenship, and Nakobe Dean, and even Gainwell, after they were out, it went from 7 to 6.5. So it really didn't do much, which I'm actually shocked about. However, they do have Justin Jefferson's receiving yards at 91.5, which is a lot. But in case you forgot, Darius Slay did lock him up last year. I don't know if it's going to happen again this year, but we are going to be a little short-handed. We're not going to have Bradbury on the team, who made the All-Pro team last year. So it's going to be a little difficult. However, this cornerback room there's a lot of depth. Josh Jobe looked phenomenal in the preseason. He held his ground when he was replacing Bradbury last week. So Jobe looked good. Pick 6, Eli Ricks looking good. Mario Goodrich. We have a good cornerback room, so I'm fine. Even though he's not James Bradbury, I'm okay. I'm comfortable with Josh Jobe as his replacement for now. It's better than having Michael Jacquet back there. Jesus Christ, that was awful. Or Josiah Scott. I'm perfectly fine with that. So, Vikings injury report: Garrett Bradbury, he's out. That's their starting center. Marcus Davenport, their starting linebacker, is questionable, and their offensive tackle Christian Darrisaw is questionable. Fletcher Cox is questionable with rib injuries as well, but I think he's going to play. And if not, we have Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis back there, and Milton Williams will be fine. I'm thinking it's going to be a closer. I think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be a close game considering the people we're going to miss. So I'm going to go with. Honestly, I'm going to go 28-21 Eagles. That's what I'm thinking. I'm depending on it because I have Hurts on my fantasy team. And the Eagles' defense, I need them to get some sacks and something like that. We'll see what happens. So, yeah. That's it for the Eagle Rants today. I will be posting my Week 2 NFL predictions on Friday like I usually do. So, yeah, I will see you all Friday. Thank you for tuning in.